looks like we might be live. We could be live and cooking with gas and grease and everything else. I hope everybody's having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I hope that you are having a nice morning and a wonderful life. That's what I want for you. I assume that's what God wants for you if you're into that kind of thing. Anyway, do me a favor as we get started. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you hit the like button, the share button, subscribe button, all that good stuff, so that we can let the world know that the excuse me, the home of Black intelligence is here. Intelligent Black people gather on a daily basis at drboycetv.com, where we talk about all the things that you don't hear in mainstream media, all the issues that matter to our community, all the things that where you need kind of an unapologetic commentary. You kind of need an honest commentary about the state of Black America, not something that is going to be whitewashed or watered down or set up in a way where we are led to believe that we are inferior, or that we have to bow to white supremacy in order to get people to like us. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a big believer that the ownership of Black media, the honest reflection on who we are as Black people, is the only way we can liberate ourselves. The only way we can liberate ourselves is by liberating ourselves psychologically, and then once we liberate psychologically, we can then liberate economically, which leads to liberation in terms of education, politics, and everything else. So before Bill and Hillary or whoever they find in the Democratic Party to come and trick you into give you their vote, I want you to vote for yourself. I want you to, as Black people, to stand up and kind of say, look, we got these problems. White folks created most of these problems. White people put us in the position that we're in, and we know this. Anybody who reads an accurate history book will know these things. Dr. Claude Anderson breaks it all down really, really well. If you want your kids to understand this. Even though you know that white people did it, that the reality is that you're going to have to clean it up. The reality is that ain't nobody coming to save you. Ain't nobody coming to fix it for you. White Jesus ain't coming. The Democratic Party ain't coming. The cavalry ain't coming. Motherfucking Santa Claus ain't coming. Ain't nobody coming to save Black people but Black people. When Black people become Superman, then that is when we will have superpowers. And until that time, we will find ourselves sitting in the back of the bus, looking like fools, falling behind, wondering why everything is always putting us at the end of the game. Because here's the thing. Look, in the world of economics, which is a very competitive sport, you are always in the middle of a great cosmic battle. You are always in the middle of a big game, just like a football game. Last night I was watching Thursday night football, and I saw the Tennessee Titans just kick the crap out of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I didn't watch for too long. I watched for a second, but anyway, but in that game, in football, it's a competitive game. People get hit in the mouth. Your opponent is going to do everything they can to try to stop you. Some opponents will even cheat in order to help you win. So whether you're the loser or you're the winner, there's always going to be a battle. If you're the loser, then you're going to be getting dominated every single day. You're going to be getting outsmarted. You're going to get outplayed. You're going to get out hustled. You're going to feel inferior. You're going to feel like you're going to feel weak. Even those men who get their asses kicked every day probably have trouble coming home and performing for their wives because their masculinity was ripped off of them in front of a nationally televised audience. But even if you win, you still have the struggle. You see, the struggle of the winner sometimes is greater than the struggle of the loser. Well, the struggle of the winner is that once you start winning, then you're suddenly going to have everybody after you. You're going to have everybody trying to come and get you. Like 50 Cent used to say in that song, "Many men wish death upon me, blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be, and niggas want to take my life away." Remember that, when he was talking about how hard it is to be at the top, and how basically everybody that saw him at the top, everybody that saw him trying to rise, wanted to see him fall. Everybody that saw him trying to get up there wanted to take him down. Everybody that saw him shining and winning and making money wanted to see him dead. And it happens all the time. That's what happened with the great Tupac. Tupac was shining. Tupac was killing. Tupac was at the top of the game. And he had small-minded, nigger-minded people that said, I don't want to see him shine. I don't want to see him win. I want to make sure he dies before the age of 25. Same thing with Biggie. You can go down the list, right? So, and then if you go back to sports, remember that when the New England Patriots started dominating everybody, now people say, well, the only reason the Patriots are winning is because they cheat. They deflated the footballs, and that's why they win. They cheat. So either way, whether you win or you lose, the struggle never stops. But the beauty of the struggle is the struggle breeds strength if you use it in the right way. If you put it in the right context, every struggle you have in your life, everything that you're fighting through, every challenge you have, every hater you have, everything that is kicking you in the ass right now, if you put it in the right context, it's going to make you stronger. Like this morning, I worked out and I didn't enjoy it. It was very painful and it was a struggle, but I knew that the reason I wanted to endure that struggle and take it on head on is because once I came out of that struggle, I would have strength. So struggle should breed strength. Struggle should breed strength. Now, this leads to the topic for today. The thing about struggle leading to strength, though, and I want you to say that. I want you to say it. Repeat that for me, please, in the chat. Say it. Struggle leads to strength. I need you to commit yourself to this idea that if you want strength, you must struggle. If you don't struggle, then you will not have strength. You must embrace the struggle so you can get the strength, right? I want Black people to be strong. So I want you to write it right. Struggle, strength, struggle, strength, struggle, strength. SS. This is the SS Negro right here. SS Black people. How about that? Like a ship. Like we're going to be on that ship to greatness by basically embracing the SS. Struggle leads to strength. Struggle, strength, struggle, strength, struggle, strength. Now, let me get to my point of my conversation today. And please hit that thumbs up button. If you're on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you also subscribe, share, and all that stuff. And also go to drboycehouston.com. If you live in Houston, I'm gonna be in Houston this week. And I saw my man Willie D from the Ghetto Boys in the chat. I'm gonna call you today, Willie. See if you want to come and hang out with us if you got some time, man. I didn't forget about you, but well, you popped in my brain this morning. I'm gonna call you and invite you out if you got time. If you ain't got time, it's all good too. Anyway, okay. So with that being said, you know, the topic for today is interesting. It's something that I was hesitant to kind of address it in this particular way because it can sound like I have an issue with Tyler Perry. Let me be clear. I have no issue with Tyler Perry as a person. I like Tyler Perry on a personal level. You can say what you want about his movies. That's not my cup of tea. His movies are not exactly I'm not in his target audience. Black Christian women are kind of his target audience, and that's what he does. I met Tyler one time. He called me on the phone because I talked about him on CNN, and in a good way. It wasn't anything crazy or negative. And I guess he wanted to just say, okay, who's this guy, that was talking about me on TV? And I like Tyler, and Tyler also is a person that understands the struggle and strength. Tyler struggled to become strong. He went through a hell of a struggle. He was homeless. He was selling his DVDs out of the trunk of his car. His story is a great inspirational story for anybody that's going through it right now that wants to see what you can do if you keep tightening up your game, keep embracing the struggle so it makes you strong. So now Tyler's strong, and now he's dealing with the other side of struggle, like struggle leads to strength, which leads to more struggle, which leads to more strength. So now Tyler is dealing with the struggle and strength that comes with being at the top, right? Tyler, I asked him that day, I said, it was right when I talked to him, right? The day before, I believe, he was on the cover of a Hollywood Reporter, and he shocked all the white folks because he was listed as the richest man or wealthiest, highest paid man in Hollywood. He was the highest paid man in Hollywood. And I said, so how does that feel to be on the cover of a magazine being listed as the highest paid man in Hollywood? I mean, the white folks were shocked. They were like, who is this Negro? He shouldn't be making more money than us. What the hell's going on? He said, I hate it. And I said, you hate it? Like, why do you hate it? I wouldn't hate making $123 million in a year. And he said, because I don't enjoy having everybody in the world knowing how much money I made. And also, he said, people don't understand the the financial struggle of making that kind of money, because he said people don't know that I paid Alan Payne millions of dollars to come on and be part of the show. People don't know I got to pay millions of dollars to keep the studio moving. People don't know about how many expenses I have that come with that 123 million. And where that comes from is the fact that most people, I guess since I'm talking financial, I'm gonna put on my black finance professor hat. So it literally says black finance professor. So let me put on my black finance professor hat because I'm a finance professor. That's my PhD. And he said people that see that kind of money, they're thinking in a paycheck mentality. Like they're thinking, if I had like imagine if you got a paycheck for 10 grand, well, your bills might be 2,000, 3,000, but then you got thousands of dollars to blow, whereas, a business owner that gets 10 grand might have to spend 15 grand just to keep the business moving. Right. So they're thinking, damn, I only got 10 grand. Whereas other people are like, man, you got 10 grand, you balling. Can I borrow some money? And you're like, I can't loan you no money because I need to loan money to myself because I can't pay my bills and my expenses. Right. So that's the difference between the paycheck mindset and the entrepreneur mindset. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. If you got a Black business, shout out your Black business so I know how many entrepreneurs we have in the building. So with that being said, that was one of the struggles that Tyler ran into, is that, he said that, people didn't understand that with that kind of money comes a lot of weight and a lot of responsibility. You're paying rent for, literally maybe dozens or if not hundreds of people. You're dealing with insane tax bills, insane, legal issues. You start getting to the top, everybody wants to sue you. Will Smith was talking about how he gets sued 15 times a year, and it pisses him off because a lot of the lawsuits that you get are frivolous, just people trying to get money out of you. So basically, there's a struggle that comes with the top, and I respect Tyler for being able to handle that struggle. Now, here's another thing I respect about Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is incredibly generous. Tyler Perry, every year, if I'm not mistaken, he'll do something really generous when it comes to helping the poor. This year, his act of generosity was he went out into the community and he paid off the layaway for a whole lot of people. He paid for a whole lot of people's layaway bill. I think about $450,000 worth. In fact, I'm gonna Google his name because I'm sure that's the first thing that'll come up. And I thought that was really generous. I mean, I think that's great. He kind of became the Black Santa Claus, and I think it's awesome. Who knows? Maybe he showed up in his Madea outfit. Well, that's right. He's getting away from Madea. I think he said he's going to kill off Madea. I'll be curious to see if he does that, because Madea done made him a whole lot of money. But I remember he did actually say, when I did ask him about the Madea thing, he did say that he doesn't enjoy putting on that dress. He said, in his perspective, he felt that the Madea character allows him to get Black people who won't go get therapy to actually listen and to learn and to grow. Right? They start laughing. Next thing you know, Madea says some really wise shit. And then before you know it, you have insights into your life because Madea told you that, baby, you need to, baby, the reason your relationships don't work is because blah, 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 blah. Right. So anyway, so Tyler, he went to a Walmart store in Atlanta, a couple of them, and he paid off everybody's layaway. And apparently it leaked out. Either it leaked out or maybe somebody leaked it out. I don't know. And basically, he paid off a bunch of layaway items, about $434,000. Last year, he gave $1 million to people affected by Hurricane Harvey, and I think that's cool. I think that's smart from a business standpoint. I think that it gives him that opportunity to let people know that he is, that he should be portrayed as the generous guy, and I think he is. I think he's a very generous guy. I've seen Tyler do a lot of things that he did not have to do. Now, here's the issue, though. Here's the challenge. Here's the thing, and this is my challenge to anybody who's listening. Because I had a conversation with a guy. Well, actually, when I talked to the people at the Jordan brand, the executives there, this was kind of how the conversation went when it came to even Air Jordans. Here's the deal. Buying gifts and toys and consumer items for poor people isn't exactly the best way to help them. And I say this as a poor person myself. I mean, I showed you guys the housing projects that I was born in. And even when we left the projects, we just moved to another projects. And then we moved to my grandmother's house. And then we moved to another place that was subsidized, government subsidized. We didn't move out of government subsidized housing until I was about 10. When I was 11. When I was 11, we moved to a house. My parents had been saving their money and we moved to a house. So our family was a little bit like the family on Good Times, where you didn't have a lot of money, but you had a lot of love and you had a strong family structure because you had the mother and the father there. So the children were receiving a certain amount of discipline in that space. So, and in fact, I did not even know that the place was government subsidized until I became a grown up, until I went back there. Because I actually, when I was in my 20s, wanted to get an apartment, and I was like, it'd be cool to get an apartment in the same place we used to live. That'd be nice, because that was a nice place. Those places were big and blah blah blah. And then my mother told me, like, no, you can't live there. And I was like, why not? She said, because you probably make too much money. And I said, really? And that was, and that's when I found out it was government subsidized. But anyway, but as a person who's poor, a person who's, where I can say my mother was on welfare and all of that shit. A lot of us have gone through that. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I can say that I don't really think that paying off people's layaway and buying toys and stuff like that, or at least doing that by itself in a vacuum, is really going to help poor people. Well, why is that? Well, because when you're buying these consumer items for them, when you're buying them toys so they can have a really fun Christmas, what you're doing is you are helping them survive in poverty, but not necessarily helping them to get out of poverty, right? You are doing charity with these individuals, but you're not making an investment. You see, charity doesn't do a whole lot for the people that are receiving the charity, and it doesn't do a whole lot for the people that are giving the charity. A lot of y'all know this because a lot of y'all have been giving charity in your own families for the last 20 years. Tell me if you are the unfortunate Negro who is the one family member who maybe went to college or went to law school or got a good job or runs a company and makes money, and you're the one who always pays when everybody goes out to dinner. When cousin Pookie can't pay the rent, Pookie calls you in the middle of the night and tell you got to go over to Western Union and send money because he's gonna get evicted tomorrow. Or you the one where all the kids are at Big Mama's house and Big Mama can't pay the rent, but they look at you because you're the one who went to Stanford when everybody else could have went to Stanford, could have went to college, but maybe they were off doing something else, right? Tell me if you know what I'm talking about, right? And tell me if that is not the most draining motherfucking shit that you've ever gone through in your motherfucking life. Excuse my French. I'm gonna try my best not to cuss. It's too early to be cussing. What the hell's wrong with me? Right? Tell me if that is not the most draining. There you go, right? Kenny Dutton, Freddie, Kyle, Cammy. I see above the sword. Yeah, I mean, I know that feeling. I know that feeling, and I'm sure Tyler Perry, people like him, know that feeling too. I can't imagine. I can't imagine having people reach out to Tyler on a regular basis to borrow money, right? Because I get 4 or 5 people a week asking me to borrow money or asking me for some sort of economic help. I can imagine what Tyler Perry would get. So here's the problem with charity. Charity is not a long-term solution to anything. Sure, if you're talking about disabled people, perhaps. If you're talking about children, perhaps. If you're talking about the elderly, perhaps. But when you're talking about able-bodied, grown-ass people who can get up, who got 2 legs that work and a brain that isn't screwed up, that can go out and actually do something for themselves, charity is probably one of the worst things you can ever do, because what charity does is it takes an able person and makes them disabled. Not all the time, but in many cases, charity will take an able-bodied person and make them disabled. So, by the way, do this for me. If you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, please. Smash that button, hit the share button, share it to your social media. If you have Facebook, please share these conversations. This is the home of intelligent Black people. I want more intelligent Black people in the world, so I don't feel like I'm on an island. I want to feel like everybody's trying to at least get to where we are, because this is what's going to lead us out of oppression. I don't know a white man who can oppress me, really. There's not. I mean, oppression doesn't really. I live in a nice bubble that's filled with Black people. I want everybody to know that these bubbles exist, and so Black intelligence is the solution to oppression. Black economics is a solution to oppression. The Democratic Party is not the solution. White Jesus ain't the solution. The public schools ain't the solution. Working for white people ain't the solution. White media is not the solution. Expensive universities that put you in debt, that's not the solution. Corporate America ain't the solution. So what's the solution for Black people is Black people. You are your own solution. So please share this with other people. Invite them to subscribe. Also, if you want me to text you when I go live, text my name, text Boyce to 31996, BOYCE to 31996. And then you'll get a text when I go live. Okay, so let me keep going. Here's the thing. So the fundamental premise that I propose to you, that I hope you will consider and that you will carry away in this discussion, is that charity alone is not enough to truly help the poor. I knew somebody, I had a friend, and this friend told me that that her father called her and said, me and your mama can't pay the rent. Now, my friend had a PhD in finance like me, and was making about $150,000 a year, which was far more money than any of her friends or any of her relatives back in Mississippi were making. And so she told me, she said, my problem with paying the rent is that every month they call me and ask me to help them pay the rent. And I do it because I feel an obligation to my family. She said, but this time she did something different. She asked them, she said, wait a minute, I know you and mama are old and I owe it to y'all. I don't mind helping y'all. I'll do anything for y'all. She said, but my brother is sleeping in the basement, living down there with his girlfriend. Cousin Willie, whatever his name was, is living on the second floor of the house. Cousin Joe is living in the house on the first floor. So you got 3 grown ass Negroes up in that house, and the mortgage and the rent ain't nothing but about $1,200, which is a lot, but it's not a lot, right? For 4 people, you know, for 3-4 people, $1,200 a month ain't nothing. Everybody, so she was like, why can't you know, the uncle and the cousin and the other cousin in the basement, first floor, second floor, why can't they all come together? And these trifling Negroes, I was about to say a real bad word. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try my best not to be ridiculous today. She was like, why can't these Negroes come together and each come up with $300? Each of them can come up with $300. She said, in fact, if they come up with most of the money, I'll come up with the last 200 or 300. She said, but why am I paying all this money when you got all these grown ass Negroes up in the house? So she told her father, she said, no, I'm not paying a penny until they either move out or get jobs or contribute to the household. And they got pissed at her. They thought, they were, oh, you think you better than us? Oh, you turning your back on your family? Oh, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, no, I'm not turning my back on my family. In fact, I was hurting you before by giving you money without considering how this was affecting me. She's like, I can't save for my future. I can't build my company. I can't, you know, save any money myself. I can't invest as much as I want to because I'm basically a walking welfare office. I'm not doing that no more. And you got able-bodied people in that house. What are they doing with their money? You know, and I told her, I said, you go, girl. You tell that. I said, you tell them that shit. I said, in fact, money is power. Money is power. I said, so I would tell them, look, if I'm going to pay the bills up in this motherfucker, everybody in that house needs to give me a full accounting of how much money they have, how much free time they have, and what they're doing with their money. Everybody in that house owes me a full accounting of how much they make, how much free time they have, and what they're doing with their money and what they're doing with their time. Because you either got one or two things most of the time. You either got money or time. Now, the magic formula, this is why I want you guys to learn how to build systems and businesses and all that. The magic formula is when you have both money and time, right? When you're making money and you got plenty of free time. That's the holy grail. That's what you aim for. Well, most people either have a lot of free time because they ain't working, or they got a lot of money with no time because they're working all the time, right? But you don't have to make that trade of time for money in order to do well in America. You just got to change your hustle, change your game, change your thinking. So that's what I told her. I said, you know, it's your money. You are like the government now. You can basically tell them, like, if I'm going to pay the bills, I need all the information that I need to understand what the problem is. You know, and that's what governments do. When Greece, for example, Greece is a country that always has financial problems. Greece got, you know, pretty much ruined the European Union because Greece is like that cousin that don't want to get their finances straight, but always want to borrow money from everybody else. So the British Brexit happened mainly because the people in Greece were like, we need y'all to take care of us. Hey, cuz, can you hey, British cuz, you doing good? Can you let me hold 20 right now? And the British cousin's like, man, fuck you, you asshole. I gave you $20 yesterday. What did you do with that $20, right? And they're like, man, you know how it is, dog. I was out with the shorties. I was at the club last night. You know how it is. And then they're like, yeah, but while you were at the club, I was out working. While you were sitting there with a stripper on your lap smoking weed, I was out here hustling to make money, and now you coming to borrow money from me. So the British government was like, fuck you, Greece. They were like, get out of the, we will not stay in this family if Greece is here, because Greece is eating off of everybody and ain't bringing nothing to the table. Some of y'all got families like that. Some of y'all have families like that want all the benefits, but none of the responsibility. Some of y'all got family members who want everybody to bail them out, but they don't want to take any responsibility for their lives. Or when you tell them, okay, I'm tired of bailing you out, I need you to go to school now, they're like, oh, well, you can't tell me what to do. Don't be telling me what to do. Well, if you don't want me to tell you what to do, then don't be asking me for my money. So Greece, the reason Greece had an issue in the European Union was because Greece was like, everybody loaned me money, but then when they would come back and say, we need to find out why you keep needing to borrow money, because you're obviously doing something wrong. Greece was like, you can't tell us what to do, and we're not going to cut our budgets. We're going to spend our money, spend, you know, right? So same thing happens in your families. You have people that want all the power, but none of the accountability. They want all the freedom that comes with the dollar to do whatever they want with their money, but they do not want, you know, they don't want any of the responsibility that comes with paying their own damn bills. As my rule in my household, my mom went back in the day was very basic. She was like, if you pay your own bills, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can do whatever you want. She would emphasize like enunciate her. If you pay your own bills, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. But if I'm paying your bills, then you do what I say, right? So anyway, and speaking on that, I was thinking about my mama this morning. I love my mama. I was thinking about my mama and my woman. And actually, according to psychologists, subconsciously, your woman is kind of like your mama. It's a sick, weird thing, but it's true. We tend to marry and date people that look like our mothers and or remind us of our opposite sex parent. So if you have a really shitty opposite sex parent, you got to be careful because you could end up marrying somebody who's just like your parent. My mother and my significant other, my mother and my woman were in a picture together. And even my woman's mother, my future mother-in-law, looked at that picture and said, my God, you look more like her than you look like me. I kid you not. It's the craziest thing. So anyway, I was thinking about her this morning, and it made me think about relationships. So when I woke up this morning, she said, Boyce, and she looks at me like she's giving me orders. And when she gives me orders, I'm like, yes, ma'am. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because you got to listen to black women. You got to do that. And good black women, not the bad ones. And so she's telling me, she's like, Boyce, today, there is a basket downstairs, a big basket full of Christmas stuff. It's in front of the door. I need you to get that basket and take it downstairs. And she looks at me, she's like, do not forget, because she knows how I am. I get caught up in everything I'm doing. And I got to fly today to Houston and all that, because she's got a party. She's bringing all her colleagues from work. She's a really smart lady. She's got a lot, she's like a lot of respect in her field. So she's bringing all these important people to the house, and I won't be here, but anyway, but I remember I was taking orders. I was like, okay, yes, absolutely. And I was saying to myself, Boyce, don't forget, Boyce, don't forget, don't forget. So first thing I did when I got downstairs, I grabbed the basket and I took the basket downstairs because I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to forget, right? Now, here's the funny thing. When she said that to me, and I was sitting there, but part of me was kind of like annoyed, like, damn, I want to go in here and I want to do my podcast before I get on the airplane. And I was annoyed by that. But here's the thing. I understood it, right? It made me think about, it reminded me of when I was a kid. It reminded me of when my mother would say the same thing to me. My mother would be like, Boyce, take out the garbage. Coco, take out the garbage, right? Because my nickname was Coco. And I would be like, oh man, I want to take out the garbage. Or Coco, clean your room. And guys, don't think that way, right? Guys, not all guys, but if you're a sloppy man, like raise your hand. I'm a very sloppy man. Like when me and my brother lived together, you would have thought our house was like a big garbage dump, like it was Fred Sanford's junkyard or something. Like literally the whole house was a mess. Like we'd eat pizza and the box would sit there on the couch for 4 days. I'm not kidding, because no one would feel like it was worth it to pick up. Like, why? What's the point, right? And then women might come over and they'd be like, oh my God, ooh, what is, and so we'd have to clean up or pretend to be neat, even though we never were. And most women I've known are a little different. They like stuff to be neat. Men to some extent, some men are a lot like dogs, just dirty and whatever. And then women are like cats, like keeping everything nice and clean, right? And and it's fine. There's biological reasons for that, actually. But long story short, here's the thing I thought about. Here's my insight. This is why I told y'all this ridiculous story that seems to have nothing to do with what we're talking about today. The insight is this. The reason that I was able to productively process what my woman told me to do this morning, the reason I was able, I heard her, and even though I was frustrated, I was still like, yes, ma'am, I'm going to get that done. And I felt like it was important, is because I was able to, I was trained for that. I was prepared by my mother as a kid for what women typically want in the house. For some reason, for a lot of women, ladies, raise your hand if you agree with me. I'm not trying to be the gender stereotype here, but tell me if it's a big deal, like if the kitchen's clean or if the garbage gets taken out, or if something that needs to be fixed actually gets fixed, or whatever, right? And I learned that from my mother. I learned that from watching my mother, who would make me clean my room, even though I didn't understand why it was important to clean my room. It was like, why? It's just going to get dirty again. That's literally how a lot of guys think. And I thought about that, and I said, if I'd never had my mother in the house, if my mother had never prepared me for this, by not really deliberate preparation, but just me learning how to deal with a woman in the house, I would probably rebel against that. I'd be like, damn it, get out of my face. Like, stop it. Like, no, who cares? I'm not taking that downstairs, right? Like I think your opposite sex parent prepares you for your relationships. That's my point. Those experiences of a young man dealing with a mother in the house. I remember times where my mother would be in the grocery store for like ever. She'd say, I'm gonna go in for 5 minutes, and she'd be there like 30 minutes. And I'd be complaining, I'd be like, Daddy, damn, why is she taking so long? And Daddy would be like, well, that's what your mama wants, so just leave it alone. Right. And that's when I learned little things like that. So I thought about the flip side, right? Now here's the thing. This is where I'm going with this. Black families have a 72% rate of children being born or living without their father in the home. Doesn't mean the fathers aren't involved, but the fathers are not in the house. And there's a different level of involvement when you're in the house than when you're outside the house. Let's just be honest about that, right? And I thought about all the little girls who grow up not knowing how to deal with a man, right? Not knowing, how men are, how men are different. In fact, I knew a woman who told me once, she's a relationship therapist, Tia Brown, who was in our new movie, The Black Love Blueprint, who was saying that, because she had not had a man in the house, she would go to her friend's house, or she had uncles around, but before, when she didn't really have a man around much, she would go to her friend's house and there'd be a man there, and it would scare her because that masculine energy would just literally make her nervous. I believe Tia was one who told me that. And so my point on this is to say that if you are a person who did not have the opposite sex parent in the house, if you're a man who didn't have your mother around, or a woman who didn't have a father around, I encourage you to take a deliberate step of studying the opposite gender. Maybe read some books about, like, if you're a woman and you really want to understand men, let go of everything you think you know about men and what your single crazy girlfriends told you about men, and go read a book about men. Like, literally read books, and don't judge. Don't just say, oh my God, what's wrong with them? They're always horny, and they're so this and they're so that. That's so stupid. Don't do that. Read it and try to understand, because everybody in life wants to be understood. And if you understand a man, you'll get the key to his heart. But if you're judging constantly and criticizing constantly, then ain't nobody want to deal with that. Same thing though with men who are trying to understand women. And the same thing applies across the board, because a lot of us are at a disadvantage because we never had to deal with an opposite sex person in the household every single day of the week. And my mother prepared me for that moment upstairs, which easily could have been a shitty moment. It easily could have been another boulder thrown against our relationship if I had gotten up and had an attitude. Book suggestions. One book I read that was really good, that was for men, but I'm going to tell you about the companion book for women. It was called What Women Want Men to Know by Dr. Barbara DeAngelis. White lady, brilliant freaking white lady though. I mean, I read this book when I was about 30, and it gave me tremendous insights into the minds of a woman. She interviewed thousands of women about every single thing, from how they think in the morning to what turns them on, turns them off. When she says this, what she's really saying. Like, it was the craziest thing. And that book, it blew my mind. It confused the shit out of me, because I was like, wait, do women really think this? And but it gave me a lot of insight. So she has a companion book for men, basically, like, on how to understand men. Her name is Dr. Barbara DeAngelis. Now, there are other books out there, other therapists. In fact, in our film, The Black Love Blueprint, we got a lot of relationship therapists in that. So there's other people out there, but that's one that immediately comes to mind. It's called What Women Want Men to Know. But if you're a woman, you should read her companion book for women. Let me see. In fact, let me Google this right quick for you, really fast. Let me see. By the way, hit that thumbs up button, please, if you're on YouTube. Also, if you want to come see me in Houston, go to drboycehouston.com. That's drboycehouston.com. And I'll be in Houston tomorrow. Also, if you want to get a 75% discount on our Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program for kids, your kids can get 3 degrees from the Black Business School, a lifetime membership. There are animated videos, self-study exams. It's a great thing for your kids to do during Christmas break. You can get a 75% discount by going to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Let's see. Here are some of her books. One of her books are You the One for Me? Let's see. Secrets About Men Every Woman Should Know. She wrote that a long time ago, 1990, but it's still relevant because we're still the same. Let's see. How Did I Get Here? I'm looking for What Women Want Men to Know. That's the one I read, and that book helped me a lot in terms of understanding women. She's got books on confidence, the 100 Most Asked Questions About Love, Sex, and Relationships. So she's got a lot of other stuff, but I would say the books about men, the books about women are the ones that you may want to check out. Okay, all right. So you said you're going to be there. Sherry Talk. Okay, cool. I can't wait to see you. I cannot wait to see you. So let me go back to this Tyler Perry thing, and also financially. Some of y'all are stock market investors. If you are a stock market investor, please make a comment. Say yes, yes. Say yes, I am, or I invest, or something like that. If you're not a stock market investor, I want you to invest, please. I want you to start learning how to invest. Just download a basic app, Acorn, Stash, or Robinhood, $5 a day, something like that. I've got a $5 a day investment program. Actually, it's a book on Amazon as well if you want to look at it. If you feel free. But it's basically on how you can build massive amounts of wealth by investing $5 a day. You just need consistency and you need time. Okay, so I see Mr. Henry and the Educated Hustler, and they call me Lily and JP Innovation. Is that Innovation? I can't read my okay. Deborah, okay, Deborah Lattimore, Love Marie, what's it called? The book is, if you look up Dr. Boyce Watkins on Amazon and $5 a day investment plan, we made that into a book. It's also a lecture you can get if you want to join my Black Stock Market program and get for Christmas, we're doing a 75% discount on a lifetime membership. So if you want to check that out too, you can go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Again, you can get a degree in the Black Business School where you're certified on stock market investing from the Black Business School. So feel free to go check that out. Yeah, so, okay, let me see who else is an investor in here. Let's see, Multijet, God of the Wolf Pack. Y'all's names on Instagram trip me out. So great. No app for investing. No, the app for the app is Acorns. I like to use Acorns or Stash and Robinhood. Marty Girl's an investor. Elijah Lewis, Michelle A. Sells, and Charles Smar. Addicted to investing. Okay. Cameron and Mr. Lefty Green. Good. Omega Dreads. Amoniki. Okay, I hope I pronounced that right. I hope I didn't make a mistake. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Good. Yes. So Kyle and Kalitha, good. And if you didn't answer yes, it's okay. Don't be ashamed. Just I want you to really just kind of understand what you what you might be missing. There's a lot happening in the stock market, and there are ways to invest where it's not crazy risk. It's not like, oh my God, you're going to lose everything. Anytime an athlete ever says I lost everything because of my investment advisor, that was because they were getting bad investment advice. They were getting bad instruction on how to invest. There's ways to invest, and this is what I wrote my dissertation on. This is why I was a finance professor for 25 years. There's ways to invest where every single person in here, if they do kind of the same thing, everybody in here over a 10, 20-year period will make money. No question about it. What is my YouTube channel? My YouTube channel is drboycetv.com. That's drboycetv.com. So feel free to go subscribe to drboycetv.com. And that way you can get multiple notifications if I go live. So if you're just on Instagram, you should probably follow me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Because what happens is that because I sometimes get black and radical, YouTube might kick me off for a while, or Facebook kicks me off for a while. Like right now I'm in Facebook jail because I shared an article and it wasn't even that bad, but they just do that randomly. And there are people that try to report you, try to get you kicked off and all that. The last point I'll make on the Tyler Perry thing, and again, I want to make sure it's 100% abundantly clear that I am not at all trying to diss Tyler Perry. I like this man. I mean, this is a good brother. Let me tell you how good of a brother Tyler Perry is. I hit Tyler up one time after we met, and I said, hey man, I'm in Atlanta. I wanted to know if you wanted to meet up for lunch. This was years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And he wasn't available. He was not around. But what he did was he actually arranged for his number 2 in command to give me and Madam President and a former associate I worked with by the name of Maria a tour. He gave us a 2-3 hour tour of the entire Tyler Perry studios. And I thought it was like a quickie tour, like, okay, come on in here. Here's a picture of Cicely Tyson. Here's where we do our shooting. Here's the bathroom. All right, so see you later. Have a good day. It wasn't like that. It was like literally a tour that lasted 2.5 to 3 hours. It could have lasted longer if we wanted to. Later on, Madam President, who's my goddaughter, reached out to this person and he gave her a job. She worked at Tyler Perry Studios for a while. So my point in that is to say Tyler's a good dude. Like I don't even want to make it sound like I'm like hating on Tyler Perry. He's very generous. But what I want to say is I think that maybe what we can do is step up the generosity by trying to make sure we incorporate investing into every part of Black culture. So that means if I'm going to go in there and pay off your layaway, I might do that. But I'm also going to buy you some educational tools so you can educate yourselves and especially your children. If I go in and I buy you a bunch of toys, I'm also going to buy you stocks in those companies that own those damn toys, right? So you want this toy that's made by Hasbro? Well, we're going to get some stock in the company that owns Hasbro, or Hasbro as a company. I don't even know exactly if Hasbro is publicly traded or if they're owned by a bigger company that's publicly traded. But either way, I would do that because what happens is in our children's programs in the business school, for example, a lot of parents will buy a stock for their children. They'll get the whole certificate. And if it's like Disney stock, Disney literally has Disney characters on the stock certificate. So you'll see a child. I've had people send me videos where they were showing their child their Disney stock with all the Disney characters, and the child gets super excited about it. And then when you throw in the money, like, oh, now you're making money when you watch your favorite Disney characters. And when your Disney characters are doing well, you're doing well. And they love it. They like the kids. I'm telling you, if you want to see a transformation in your kids, especially like boys that are like 12 or 13 years old. It works for girls too. Like girls like it in their own way. But I've noticed one of the most marked transformations I've seen are hundreds of stories I've gotten from people who have like that 13-year-old boy who's a little badass like I was, who's easily distracted, who's bored with school, who's getting in trouble every day, and they teach him how to invest. Next thing you know, he done turned into like the Diddy or something. Like he's in there in the stock market like all the time. Like he's really into it because he's like, oh, this is how I make money. Because that's what the boys want. The boys want to make money and be successful so they can get girls and be popular, right? So they either do that through sports. Like think about it. If the NFL suddenly paid minimum wage, like imagine if every NFL player made, $15 an hour. Well, a lot of black boys wouldn't be trying to be in the NFL. Let's say the NFL paid $15 an hour and you couldn't be on TV. So they took all the NFL games off TV and they all started making $15 an hour. How many little black boys would grow up dreaming about becoming NFL players? Zero, none, nada, not a damn thing. Like nobody would want to do it, right? Why? Well, because you took away the two things they want. They want the fame and they want the money, right? They want the fame, they want the money. So basically, if you show them other ways to get money, then they're gonna. And let's say you're not, 6'5", 250 pounds, and can't run the 40-yard dash in 4.4 seconds. Well, there's better ways to make money, more money than NFL athletes that don't involve getting your head cracked into the point where you can't remember your kids' names, right? A lot of NFL players are like that right now. A lot of retired players, they don't talk about it much, but I'm going to talk about it so you know about it. A lot of retired NFL players have come to me and told me that the brain damage was so severe and the concussions were so severe that they just literally wish they'd never played football. One guy I know, oh my goodness, he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was a Pro Bowler. Why is his name not in my head? He played at Indiana University. He was a star at Indiana. Somebody say his name because I met this brother. And I should know his name. But anyway, I met this guy, and one of the things he told me was he said, "Now check this out." He said, "I wish I'd never played football." And I was like, "Why would you say that?" Like the reason we were speaking at the same event was because this man done been in the Pro Bowl. He has won a Super Bowl. He has made millions of dollars. He was a star for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I said that Antoine Randall L. Thank you. A smart man. I said, why would you say that you wish you had never played football? He said, well, because I've been hit in the head so many times that you can tell something ain't right mentally. There's a lot of these players in the NFL right now who are, when you hear a story about an athlete going off and just in a fit of rage, like dragging some girl by her hair or throwing some dude out the window or whatever, it doesn't mean the athlete shouldn't have responsibility for their actions, right? You have to discipline and deal with it the way you deal with it. But just know a lot of these situations are linked to brain damage. A lot of these guys have, especially a guy like a running back, like the guy at the Chiefs that just got kicked off the team. Running backs take a ton of hits to the head before they even get to the NFL. Many of them have brain damage before they even get to college. They've been getting hit in the head since Little League. The human brain is not built to take a constant pounding. We are not rams. Rams are built to like clock horns and bang heads. That's why through a million years of evolution, the ram's skull is much thicker than the human skull. The human skull, like when God was designing human beings and evolution was taking place, they didn't anticipate that there'd be some sport where we make money crashing our heads into each other. So we're a million years behind in the evolution necessary to have the skulls thick enough to endure that kind of pounding. So what happens is that a lot of NFL players, by the time they're done, when they look at their brains, they open their brains up, they find that the vast majority of them have significant brain damage, the equivalent of being in like 20,000 car crashes. I was in one car crash and that fucked me up. I was like traumatized and shook up. And anybody ever been in a car crash and just kind of know, like, it's weird? It's like it does, especially if you hit your head or something, it does something to you. It rattles you really bad. Imagine doing that 20,000 times. I don't know if I can be normal after that, right? So long story short, we need a different dream for our kids, you know. And I think that, and again, if I had $1 billion, if I could get Floyd Mayweather, if I could go get Floyd Mayweather a date rape drug and make him go to sleep, I wouldn't rape him. I just make him go to sleep long enough for me to to use some of the money in his bank account. And I'm just joking. I wouldn't rob nobody. But if I was able to go and get Floyd Mayweather to let me utilize his wealth for about 3 days, I could change the whole Black community in those 3 days. And you know what I would do? I would take a few $1 million and I would make sure that every Black child in America was educated on financial literacy. I would implement a system where every Black child in America, before they learn anything else, would learn how to invest in the stock market long term, how to invest in real estate, like how to buy a home and all that good stuff. And also how to start a business. I would literally do that. And then I would probably open up like a whole chain or a branch, a bunch of Black-owned schools all across the country. So I'd hire about, maybe 20,000 Black educators to build a school system all throughout, or a school system that stretches all throughout the globe that would educate Black children all around the world. I would invest in these babies. I wouldn't just buy them a bunch of toys. Right. So this goes back to the premise of the original conversation. Y'all know me. Sometimes I go around the world, but I always bring you right back home. So just ride with me on the journey and enjoy the ride. Don't question the ride. Just sit back and be like, okay, Boyce talking crazy. Boyce done went out to Jupiter and Mars, and now he's trying to come back to Earth. Well, that's what I do. That's my style of teaching. That's my style of conversation. And at the end of the day, it works because that's how I'm able to help you understand advanced financial concepts in a way that even a 7-year-old can understand. Okay, you don't need to go to college to do this. You ain't got to go $100,000 in debt. I am a college professor. I've taught probably about 16 different financial classes, everything from international finance to banking to investments to everything else. So I know all this stuff like the back of my hand. And when you know something that well, you can compare it and analogize it and connect it to everything. Right. So long story short, what I will say to you at the end of the day is, I encourage all the celebrities watching. I don't consider myself a celebrity, but I guess some people see me that way. I go some places and I get mobbed like Michael Jackson. It's very flattering, but sometimes it's tough because you got to have security to get you in and out of the building. But I'm talking to the celebs that are mainstream that are sitting on $100 million, etc. Let's not do Christmas every year where all we do is give away a bunch of stuff. Because when you do that, another thing you're doing is you're creating a poverty mindset. You're also creating a mindset that is detrimental to the way the Black man and the Black woman views themselves. You're looking at Black people as a charity case. You're treating the whole Black community as if we can't do anything on our own without somebody doing it for us. And that's not empowering. If you want to understand this concept, there's a documentary on Netflix. Feel free to go check it out. It's called Poverty Inc. Poverty Inc. It's on Netflix. Or not Netflix, neither Netflix or YouTube, one of the two. But it's called Poverty Inc. And what they talk about is basically how they figured out, scientists figured this out. And I want you to pay attention, Black people, because this affects your community. Scientists figured out that with all these charitable organizations, these charitable organizations that are giving all this money to Africa and have these fundraisers where they build a whole industry around giving to Africa, and they show you the little, they do the telethons where they show you the little baby with the flies on his face and shit like that to get you to feel bad and send money. They said these organizations are hurting Africa. They're hurting the countries because the countries, first of all, what they're doing is they're making all their European friends rich because they're getting all these people to give money, and then they'll say, kids in the Congo need shoes. So we're going to go and we're going to airdrop, 10,000 pairs of shoes onto the kids in the Congo. Sounds good, right? Everybody needs shoes. Okay. Well, here's what's going on. So they're going to collect this money. And then first the administrators take their fee. The people running the organization going to get their cut. And then they're going to go to their European friends in France. And they're going to say, the kids in the Congo need shoes. We just collected all this money from all these people that want to give shoes to the kids in the Congo, and we want to pay you to manufacture shoes for these kids. So they're not going to, now if they really want to empower these African countries, they would go there and say, we're going to make a capital investment, or we're going to give you a grant so you can build a shoe factory, so you can create the shoes and even give them away if you want to, or sell them if you want. But no, they don't do that. They want to control the means of production. You understand? Why? Well, because a lot of people are never ever taught that there's two sides to every economic equation. There's a consumer and there's a producer. Black people are trained to be the consumer. We're trained to go spend the money and get the product. We're not trained to think about, well, who's making the product and who's getting the profits, right? So basically they're giving money to their friend in France to go make the shoes, and then the French company comes and they drop the shoes on the kids in the Congo. Everybody's happy, like, yeah, you gave us shoes, thank you, white Jesus, thank you. We love white people, we love white people are good, right? And here's what happens, right? So here's the thing. You got two types of people in the Congo. You got those people that are like, yes, thank you, white Jesus. We need those shoes. Please keep giving us these shoes. We want more. Give us more. And then the shoes stop coming. They're like, oh my God, we have no shoes because white people stopped giving us shoes. They used to come by and give us shoes, and now they don't give us shoes. And Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black shoes matter too. Black people's feet need to be covered, and we can't cover our feet because you stopped dropping us shoes, right? That's the first type of person you have in the Congo. But then you got the smart people in the Congo who don't play checkers, they play chess. See, the checker players are whining and crying, but the chess players are saying, well, why weren't we able to manufacture the shoes in the first place? Or they're saying, well, we tried to open a shoe factory and manufacture our own damn shoes so that we would always have shoes if we need them. But y'all's asses are sitting around taking the free shit. Like, y'all want the free stuff delivered by the white people that where they're airdropping shoes from the sky. So because you were so anxious to get the free shoes from the white man, and we can't blame you for taking a free product. It is what it is. They were doing what they call dumping. They call that product dumping. The Japanese used to get accused of dumping automobiles onto the US market to get market share, right? To get the attention of the consumer. They would take a car that was worth about 15,000 and sell it for 10, because they were like, we'll take a loss now because we're going to dump our product on the market so cheap that we're going to put everybody else out of business. Then we'll raise our price later, right? So they're dumping their product onto the consumers of the Congo. And so the consumers of the Congo, like any logical person, are taking the free stuff. But what you're doing is you're putting every shoe manufacturer in the Congo out of business. That is the game that's being played globally when it comes to economics. That's one of the reasons why Black people get left behind, not just in the United States, but all throughout the world. That is the reason why you have to be trained on economics to even understand the basics of how this game works. Because if you don't understand how the game's being played, it's very easy to think that you're lucky because these people want to give you a bunch of free stuff. But what happens is that when people are just feeding you, you never become empowered to learn how to feed yourself. And if somebody really loves you, they're not just going to feed you, they're going to teach you how to feed yourself. In fact, they won't just give you a fish, they will teach you how to fish. And they won't just teach you how to fish, they will teach you how to own the land where the pond is located so that you can go fishing whenever you want to, and you can rent the pond out to other people who want to fish. Chess, not checkers. So my encouragement is, and I got my Black finance professor hat on. I'm about to take it off because I'm about to become a normal person again. It's like Clark Kent and Superman, right? My point is that, again, no disrespect to Tyler Perry. I think Tyler is a godsend and as a human being. His movies, you know, some of the movies, I ain't gonna lie, I can't watch. I can't watch some of the Tyler Perry movies because it's not because they're not good. It's because they appeal to the side of me that I don't really want to see activated. Like I don't want to watch these movies too much because I'm eventually gonna want to keep watching that stuff. And it's almost like eating greasy soul food. Like it tastes good, but I don't know if it's good for you, right? But to the extent that Tyler has been able to achieve something other people look up to, I respect him for that. And the man's always been respectful to me. He's respectful to others. So I don't think that there is a reason to dislike him for this. In fact, he may not know, but I will encourage him and others, you know, let's really empower people. Like, let's really implement an investment program for these kids. Let's make sure every Black child knows how to invest in the stock market. Everybody. So in fact, let's not even talk about Tyler. Let's not put it all on him. I'm going to put it towards you. if you have any children in your family, take it upon yourself to talk to them about some of these economic concepts that we discussed during the conversation. Just talk about it. Just, bring it up. Basic things, the 3 pillars of wealth. What are the 3 ways people make money in America and get rich typically? Stock and bond investing, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Keep those 3 pillars of wealth in your mind. Stock and bond investing, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Everybody in the Black community should know at least the basics in all 3 of those areas. Doesn't mean you can't work for other people. Doesn't mean you can't buy consumer items. Doesn't mean you can't get toys at Christmas, but it does mean you can see the bigger picture. So in fact, in sports, the first way to learn how to win the game is to be able to see the whole field. LeBron James is a great basketball player because LeBron has excellent court vision. LeBron can see the play developing before it even happens. Well, for Black people, if you can't see the court in its entirety, and if you can't see the play before it happens, as it's developing, then you're going to make a lot of bad passes, take a lot of bad shots, get the ball stolen from you, and end up giving away the game. So let's train our children to have excellent court vision when it comes to the field of economics. How's the game developing? How's the game evolving? What's happening with the other players who don't even have the ball? How are my teammates moving away from the ball? How do we get in position to take a good shot? And that's how you win the game. All right. So anyway, I'm about to go. Let me give you a few quick things. One, hit that thumbs up button. If you're on YouTube, please smash that thumbs up button. We need Black intelligence to reign the world, and we are on a mission. We have an agenda. The agenda is the Black intelligence agenda. Number 2, if you want to support Black media, Black-owned media, Black intelligent media, join our club at intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. You can do that, and you can support the channel with a monthly subscription or whatever level you choose. There are different prizes based on what level you pick, so it's up to you. Third, I'll be in Houston this week. So if you want to see me in Houston with Dr. Venetia Dutra and attorney Nicole Compton, go to drboycehouston.com. That's drboycehouston.com. It's going to be great. It's going to be lit. It's going to be fun. You're going to love it. Next, if you want to learn stock market investing and really understand how it works and get a degree from the Black Business School, we're better than pretty much any business school in America when it comes to educating Black people. Go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Okay, thank you guys for hearing me out, and I love you. And once again, I love you also, Tyler Perry. Keep doing your thing, and I hope this is taken in the spirit that it's intended. So I will see you guys very, very soon. I'm about to go get on this airplane, and I love you guys. See you later. Peace.